You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, all you weirdos. Jim here, and it's that time of week again where we put last week's comics away. We put them in the long boxes, the short boxes, throw them in the closet, whatever you do, and we get ready for next week's comics, and we look forward or anticipate next week's comics. These are the comics that are going to be coming out on the 17th of July, I believe. And when we do this is my list of the books that I'm looking forward to, but I beg and plead with everyone, please let us know what you're looking forward to. Everybody has a different view. Everybody's looking forward to something different. And even if you are looking forward to the exact list that I have, which this week is pretty long, put that as well. Just put it in if you have time. Tell everybody why you're looking forward to some of these comics. And again, I say this every week just because I'm anticipating comics. I'm not saying that these are great. I'm not saying that I know even if they're good or not because I haven't read them. These are just things that I'm anticipating for all sorts of different reasons. Some because I'm liking the series. Some are new number ones. Some are things that I'm just curious about. But here we go. And if you're playing at home, what I'll be doing is giving you the title, the creative team, the price, and then we'll read the solicit and have some fun in between. We start with DC Comics, and the first one is Batman Superman World's Finest, number 29, written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora. It is $3.99. The solicit, too, what is the Might story? Remember, if you're reading this last issue, you had Doom Might, so we're going to have to see what is going on with him. The grand finale to Impossible is here, and it is as insane as you think it would be. First of all, we've got this big Doom Might guy over here. Check him out. He's about to eat Batman and Superman. I hate solicits like this that end up like playing games. I'm telling you, I can't stand them, but we'll continue. What would that even taste like? I don't know. Let's hope our heroes never let them find out. As the Man of Steel and the Dark Knight save the Fifth Dimension, the band that is, from implosion, or die trying. You end up with the, I think, the Age of Aquarius by the band Fifth Dimension. So you don't want to have that leave whatever, the zeitgeist. But yeah, I like the Might story. I enjoy the World's Finest book. It's a fun time, but we're going to move to a darker thing. A darker time, Dark Knights of Steel, Allwinter, number 1, written by Jay Kristoff with a backup story by Tom Taylor, art by Tirso and Riccardo Federici, who everybody loves. $4.99. The snow falls thick, blood runs black, not red, black, and color itself is only a distant memory. The legendary assassin Destro stalks a frozen wasteland, killing for coin among a nation of ever-warring jarls. But when our murderer for hire finds himself cast in the role of reluctant guardian, will he fight to end the icy curse destroying the land or be consumed by the sins of his own dark past? And at what cost? That seems pretty cool. I did like the Dark Knights of Steel. I thought it kind of petered out by the end. If you remember, there were a lot of delays. At one point, Tom Taylor's like, yeah, it'll be done when I'm done. I'm like, that is an attitude, I'll tell you. But I did like it for the most part, so I'm looking forward to this. I'm not real familiar with Jay Kristoff, so we'll see what's going on with him. And in the meantime, some of you will know that I end up doing some songs and things for books. I actually did a Allwinter Dark Knights of Steel song that is kind of inspired by Insane Clown Posse for some odd reason. Actually, it's because of Eric, who does the DC Comics podcast. He's a juggalo, and I did it to make fun of him. But I might put that up on YouTube. It's a weird song. It's very, very odd, but I might put it up. But that is it for DC Comics. And now we'll move to Marvel Comics. And what am I anticipating and looking forward to at Marvel Comics? Well, the first one is Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, number 1, written by Erica Schultz, art by Michael Dowling, and it is $4.99. And some people really don't like Elektra as Daredevil. I didn't mind it at first. It made sense. Matt's going to jail. Elektra, with the little ulterior motive, comes in and says, hey, I'll fill in. I'll give you some money. I'll buy up some stuff, right? And I'll fill in and I'll show you that I'm pretty good. Now, she was trying to get him to do this ceremony, the wedding deal. If you were reading it, you know what I'm talking about. And then she should have stopped being Daredevil. Again, I didn't mind her being Daredevil, but the time had come and gone past, I want her to get back to being Elektra. And a lot of people said to me, well, you just want her to go back to doing whatever. No, she could go back learning some lessons and things like that. But I still would like her to slice and dice. But here is the solicit spinning out of Daredevil number 11. I'll tell you the other reason why I am anticipating this and wanting to read it is because I'm really not enjoying Saladin Ahmed's Daredevil anymore. I kind of want a Daredevil, whether it is Elektra or not. It's Daredevil, but after the stunning events of Daredevil number 11, I mean, stunning they were. Daredevil's allies are, I don't know what they're talking about. Daredevil's allies are left more vulnerable than ever before. If they're able to survive, it will fall to Elektra and Matt Murdock to not only save their city as Daredevil, but also protect the people they love the most as they're targeted by some of the most dangerous, violent elements the Marvel Universe has to offer. At what cost? We'll see. We'll see how that is. That seems like it's saying it's pretty big. I don't know. We'll see when we get it. The next one from Marvel is a book that is people, butting heads, shaking fists at each other, maybe talking behind people's backs. I don't know. Ultimate X-Men, number 5, written by Peach Momoko, art by Peach Momoko, $4.99. The New Mutants face their first enemy. It's funny they're calling them the New Mutants in the solicit there. I still think it should have been the Ultimate Runaways, but that wouldn't have sold. Maystorm isn't the only mutant with electric powers, and Noriko Ishida is here to make sure she knows it. A fun summer festival turns haunted, and dangerous as spirits and surges collide. Oh my. Plus, the Shadow, who has been haunting Armor, finally reveals his true face. Most people think he's the Shadow King, but we'll end up finding out. Maybe he's just like a kid who hangs in his room and, I don't know, puts weird pictures on the wall. Might be, but I still think it's the Shadow King. We will see it this week, though. That's pretty cool. I know that a lot of people are down on the book, even people that ended up liking it at first and then kind of like nothing's going on. I'm still here to read it and review it. I do like it. I'm not liking it as much as at the beginning, but I'm still liking it, and this issue seems like it's going to give us some forward progression, which we do need in that book. But the next and last book from Marvel, this is one I have it here because I'm kind of like worried, but I also want to read it, but I'm a little wary. It's Namor, number 1, written by Jason Aaron, art by Paul Davidson. It's $4.99. Last king of Atlantis, war rages beneath the waves from the lost cities of the secret seas to the fathomless depths where the elder whales reign. Sounds like a crazy, like, folktale type song. 7 kings, old and new, fight to rule the watery realm. Now I'm reading it like it rhymes. It's not rhyming. But where is Namor, the once mighty submariner? Like it said realm, is he at the helm? I'll just add stuff. He's sitting behind bars on the surface with no intention of ever setting foot in the seas again. So begins an oversized, oh man, I have problems with those. Atlantean event that will forever reshape the landscape of the underworld world, while it at last laying bare the dark history of Atlantis and its fiercest, most infamous defenders. I'm kind of at the opinion anymore that if it says anything's going to change forever, it's not going to change. They're just talking a lot of smack, a lot of hot air. But we'll see. A lot of hot water here. An epic that will redefine the King of the Seas. Here's where, and I remember I did the Solicits podcast, and I did read this. This is the stupidest thing I've ever read from anybody at Marvel or DC making a solicit. I mean, you want to get people excited. You want to have people buy the book, and you end with an epic that will redefine the King of the Seas in the manner of Jason Aaron's Punisher series. All right. I could just imagine. It's like people are like, they're writing it down for their, what? Their eraser. That's why pencils have erasers. You get rid of mistakes like that. They should never have said that. They should never have put that last sentence. That is a deal breaker. But that is it for the big 2. And if you have been listening to me and Gray talk our weekly best new comics of the week show, and if you haven't, I don't know why you haven't been, but it's one of those things that's gradually, it's like being dominated by the indie scene, because both me and Gray, who are initially big DC Comics fans, also like Marvel, but big DC guys, we're not liking a lot of it, so we're kind of grabbing onto a lot of indie stuff instead. But here are the indie comics. There's a lot. This first one, people are going to laugh at me, but I am going to read it. I don't think I'm going to review it because I don't think anybody will look at this review. There's a lot of red flags going up, especially because, I'm an old man, and it's Powerpuff Girls #1, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Paulina Galna-Chiao. I think it's probably not pronounced. It's by Dynamite Comics, $4.99. That's a little pricey for a Powerpuff Girls book, but they're going to say superstar creators, Kelly Thompson. Really? Birds of Prey, Scarlet, Black Widow. Black Widow was good. Got canceled very early because of delays, things like that. Scarlet, 1 issue or 2 issues in stinks. Birds of Prey, I can't stand. So there you go. Maybe I shouldn't read this. And Paulina Galna-Chiao, I think. Wonder Woman and She-Ra join forces for a bold, adorable new take on everyone's favorite super trio. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. Here were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Altonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born. And ever since, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil using their ultra special powers. Right? There you go. One of the reasons why I like the Powerpuff Girls is it's kind of like a weird connection to the K-pop band New Jeans, if you know what I'm talking about. The next one's The Rocketeer Breaks Free #1. It is written by Stephen Mooney with art by Staz Johnson. Pretty cool name. IDW, $4.99. I think these should be $3.99, but who am I? The Rocketeer storms the city by the bay. Oh my. With Betty about to start work on a new film. I was worried about Betty. Cliff and Peavy join the aspiring starlet on a trip to San Francisco, where they lays with fellow pilot and friend and government operative Debbie Seville. As always, trouble seems to follow Cliff, who gets caught up in a cable car accident. Are they going to tell us the whole plot here? I mean, this legitimately sounds like, I'm doing a podcast on this, I'm reviewing it. But at least it'll all be smooth sailing after that, right? Not if the Rocketeer's luck stays true to form. Surprised, and wait till you see the cliffhanger that has this and that. I don't know, that solicit's kind of losing me. It's making me feel like I may not understand things, or I already know it. The first issue in a 4-issue miniseries written by fan-favorite artist or writer Stephen Mooney, Rocketeer, The Great Race, and Half Past Danger, and drawn by Staz Johnson. Robin and Catwoman. Staz Johnson. Oh, my. The next one is a book that I'm really enjoying, and it was kind of a shock. I did not think I would enjoy it. I am not a learned guy when it comes to Spawn, but you put Spawn in the future, make it kind of a new jumping in deal, and I'm in. Rat City #4. My man, shout out to Andrew in Belfast. He actually started reading this because we were talking about it on this show and the Best Of show, and he likes it. It's written by Erica Schultz. I like Erica Schultz. I know that a lot of people, pish-posh, all these certain writers and whatnot. I think Erica Schultz kind of flies in like at a 7.5 out of 10 range there. Boom. Right in there. Art by Z. Carlos. $2.99. Now we're talking. Like that stuff, Todd McFarlane knows where it's at. Right? $2.99. It does come out distributed by Image Comics. And they also know how to make a solicit that's A-okay to me because this thing is like one sentence. As Peter's powers continue to grow and evolve, he starts to learn a bit more about where they came from. And that means he becomes a target. See, that's how you do it. That's how you do the solicits. Don't tell the whole thing. Don't give away the milk or they're not going to milk the cow. Right? That's what I say. Witchblade #1. I've never read any Witchblade books before, but that popped up. And Zach, who does the indie podcast with me, said, oh, I think we should read the Witchblade. I'm like, what the hell? We'll read the Witchblade. Then I saw that it was written by Marguerite Bennett, who doesn't like me. Art by Giuseppe Cafaro. And I'll tell you the story. I ended up having a review. I forget what it was for. I can't remember. Might have been like Gotham City Garage. It was so long ago. But I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. The issue an 8 out of 10. So I get on, social media. I get on Twitter. And I tweet the thing out. Figure that's a pretty good score. I send an at a Marguerite here. And she gets back to me and says it's an insult that I sent anything of an 8 out of 10 that I have to give her an 8.5 to be able to tweet her. I basically said, so I'm never going to tweet you. Thank you. And actually, I will thank Marguerite because she was the one who made me never tweet any sort of creative team again, because I don't need that nonsense. Yeah, N8 isn't good for her. Image Comics, it's $4.99. It's a little high. Series premiere. Sarah Pazzini is back in an all-new origin story, a reimagining of the classic storyline. This high-octane supernatural thriller starts at the beginning with familiar characters and new story arcs. New York City police detective Sarah Pazzini's life was forever fractured by her father's murder. Cold, cunning, and hell-bent on revenge, Sarah now stalks a vicious criminal cabal beneath the city where an ancient power collides and transforms her into something wild, magnificent, and beyond her darkest imaginings. Witchblade. There we go. I hope it's good. I like getting into stuff like that, like stuff that is pretty popular and, niche things, but, it's giving a new thing. And hopefully the people who are the Witchblade fans, all of them out there, that they enjoy this new entry point, new origin story. But the way fans go, I'm sure they won't. But we'll move on to the next one. We have two more left. And things are missing from these solicits. And if you know me, there's two things that I love: cheesesteaks and Ghost Machine books. Also, I like the Energon universe. Three things. Because the first one's Destro #2, written by Dan Waters, art by Adriana Lucas. It's an Image comic book. It's $3.99. I liked the first one enough. It was better than Scarlet. Scarlet is the dud, if you will. Destro was okay. Not as good as Duke or Cobra Commander in my mind, or nowhere near Transformers, but it still, still was okay. I was interested. The world is changing and Destro means to come out on top. But with Cobra Commander breathing down his neck, which is so annoying, especially the guy's breathing down his neck. He's got a mask over his mouth. How is he doing it? And mercenaries, Zaymot and Tomax, oh God, the Cobra twins, seeking to dethrone him as the world's premier weapons manufacturer. He'll have to survive the future in order to build it, and then tear it down, and then build it again, and then blow it up. That's how it should have been, and that seems pretty cool. But the last solicit, the book that I am most looking forward to next week, it is a Ghost Machine book. It's slightly behind in my rankings to Rook Exodus, but this is what always happens when I read Redcoat. It'll then vault slightly ahead, and it's like leapfrog, right? Redcoat #4, written by Jeff Johns, art by Andrew Curry, it says, but I think they keep messing that up. I do believe that it will still be Brian Hitch, unless I'm not aware that somehow, they're changing things up, but I don't think so. A tale 126 years in the making, the clandestine cult of hooded figures called the Founding Fathers. I thought it was called the Founding Fathers, has finally caught up to the cocky and eternally unlucky mercenary Simon Pure, who definitely has to have some relation to Constantine, John Constantine and him. For the first time since their macabre ritual gave Simon immortality in 1776, we learn new secrets behind the moment and the magic that powered it. Also, can a 13-year-old Albert Einstein annoy us all with his German accent? Yes, but it also says, can he tap into his genius to help Simon? He'll think about it, but the odds aren't looking good. That accent, I think it's going to kind of gradually go away a bit. I think that it was heavy at first, and I think that Jeff Johns will play that game like we're getting used to hearing it, so it just won't be there anymore. Because, boy, it was annoying in the first couple issues, but the book's still great. I enjoyed. I really like the Energon books and the Ghost Machine books, and then the other books. There's a lot of good indie stuff. I was not an indie fan until a couple of years ago. I was just strictly DC. Then I ended up, going to the Marvel side of things. And then I started reading manga. And then last but not least, indie comics. And boy, I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of cool stuff. And again, a lot of people are down with the big two. There's still a lot of good indie books out there. And I'd love to hear all of the books, even the big two, whatever. If you are looking forward to things, if you're anticipating stuff, please put it in the comments below. And what you end up doing is maybe people don't know a book's coming out. Like maybe people didn't know Witchblade was coming out and they'll pick it up now, or the Powerpuff Girls. But in the meantime, too, maybe people, that's coming out this week, things like that. But mostly it's to get people to read more books. And that's what we kind of want to have happen. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I do like to say this is the most positive show. Maybe not on YouTube, maybe not on the internet, but at least here on the channel. What a misery. going on. So I always like to have a show where we can kind of goof around and look forward to what hopefully are good books. We'll see. We'll see when we read them, but that is it. Thanks, everyone. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Check out all the links in the description of this video where you can get, go all the place. We have tons of podcast things, and we also have our Patreon. If you would like to help support us and get a ton of exclusive shows, check it out at patreon.com/weirdscience. If you go now, you'll get a 7-day free trial to check out everything before you put it down, your hard-earned kashunda. But that is it. Thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.